Welcome back. Chris Wallace here, advisor to men, with another edition of the ATM News. This week, we're going to talk about pair bonding as the human default. You see, the war on pair bonds is not just cultural, it's existential. Since the beginning, men and women have always banded together to take advantage of each other's strengths and to shore up each other's weaknesses. Every serious human relationship stands on about 300,000 years of lived experiment. That's enough replication to settle a science, don't you think? Long before institutions, ideologies, or dating apps, men and women formed stable bonds because survival depended upon it. Children lived or died based on adult reliability. Adults lived or died based on their cooperation with each other. Families were not just social fashion, rather they were our survival infrastructure. Human beings evolved in conditions where danger was ordinary. Illness appeared suddenly. Food failed without warning. Injury ended livelihood. Violence came easily. Has that really changed? Think of how pregnancy created vulnerability. Infancy demands many years of protection. The structure that carried people through all of that world was a lasting bond with each other. Between a man and a woman especially, supported by extended family and trusted neighbors. Even today, in hunter-gatherer tribes, a child will spend 2/3 of its waking hours amongst alloparents, which are neighbors, grandparents, uncles, aunts, siblings, cousins, before circling back to mom and dad for feeding and care. This durable model is what brought us here. Pair bonding solved practical problems. It coordinated labor, it stabilized reproduction, it created continuity in a world that offered very little by default. Baumeister and Leary's classic 1995 paper, The Need to Belong, showed that human beings possess a fundamental drive to form and maintain strong, stable relationships. Emotional health improves with connection. Psychological disturbance grows when belonging breaks down and it's absent. Medicine shows the same story. Couples who spend time together soon synchronize heart rates and blood pressure. Stress hormones drop when partners reunite after a separation. The nervous system becomes calmer through proximity alone. The body literally functions differently when it knows it's not by itself. The whole emotional system is organized around attachment. When connection strengthens, people feel valued and emotions rise. When connection weakens, emotional tone drops. That's why loneliness doesn't simply feel empty, it feels destabilizing, and it's felt physically. The nervous system interprets isolation as an existential threat because for most of human history it was. Attachment theory explains this developmentally. A child doesn't just learn emotional stability from instruction, but rather through presence. Regulation comes from being held, seen, soothed, and responded to. Post-World War II, John Bowlby found that orphanages in Europe, where children bonded with a caregiver, well, the kid would cry less, would sleep better, would put on weight faster, and accordingly would develop normally. Adults remain wired the same way. The environment becomes safer when attachment's secure. Everybody wants to come home to some person who's special. Tribe is our nature, and yet the ideologues would have us all consider anything tribal as demeaning. Such hubris, I say. Men need to resist these divide and conquer attacks on both tribe and on pair bonding. When people claim that humans are naturally non-monogamous, they have to ignore this entire body of evidence. If indiscriminate mating was our design, attachment would not govern the emotional system. Relationships lost would not injure so much. Bonding would not stabilize. The body would not register separation as distress. Nature doesn't punish natural behavior through biology. Think of that. Anthropology makes the picture even clearer. Long childhood requires long commitment. Human offspring remain dependent longer than any mammal. That alone makes casual reproduction impossible as a founding strategy. Across cultures and centuries, wherever children grow slowly and survival demands, cooperation, pair bonding appears. Cultures have varied around that pattern according to conditions, that's true. Some men supported multiple households in wealth-dense environments. In harsh or unusual ecologies, temporary alternatives emerged. During war, migration, informal bonds develop. These variations solved local problems. They never replaced the model, though. They depended on it. Homophily is based on the idea that birds of a feather flock together, and it fits inside the same design. People choose partners who resemble them in values, temperament, education, and background. The pair bond becomes the primary place where similarity and identity converge together. Families become the passageway through which culture reproduces itself. When I read Architecture of the Mind by the late Jaak Panksepp, he tells of 7 emotional mechanisms: seeking, lust, care, play, rage, fear, and panic, grief. And most are obvious just by definition. But seeking is the most used, and rage comes into play to punish or correct when something thwarts seeking. But it is panic grief that is the strongest of all our emotional mechanisms. Why is that? Well, I suggest it's because we exist in each other. The modern world now walks away from belonging. Marriage rates have fallen while fertility has declined. Men have been vilified by a feminist culture and now retreat from family life. Women are praised for independence and delay motherhood until their best years are gone. Attachment is treated as optional. Seems we've been sold a bill of goods by the personality disordered few, I say. Here's the truth. The body never updated. Our biology still punishes disconnection, still registers separation as distress, still demands belonging. Ignore that and you ignore the architecture of the mind itself. Men still hunger for purpose and usefulness. Women still hunger for safety and connection. And children still require presence and stability. The emotional system basics are still there. This is where the team human frame belongs, pair bonds as the unit where creation and defense meet. Women remain the precious creators of life, burdened by biology and gestation. Men remain the expendable protectors who absorb danger and disorder. All of this did not emerge from ideology. Rather, it came about from consequence and from natural selection. When men are deemed as unnecessary, chaos grows. Have you noticed? When women are persuaded away from motherhood, success now is followed by grief later. When families thin out, culture hollows. Mrs. told me a couple of years ago that all of her friends who work and have children wish they could stay at home with them as full-time moms. All of them, she said. What if we ran things so kids are prioritized? What if we did that? Pair bonding remains the engine through which stability forms. Attachment builds identity. Marriage produces order. Parenthood creates future orientation. And I have to add that fatherhood very much defined me as a man. It may have even saved me. It's true that people can bet on theories written after comfort arrived in the modern era, more or less. But look around you. How's non-monogamy working out? For you, for those around you, for society at large. Sure, things have changed, but restoring generational masculinity is a male responsibility. That's you and me. It falls to men to shore up what's missing. That's why we have the Defender boards. That's me and you. Human design already cast its vote in the nervous system. We ought to find a way to bet on nature. Stay powerful, true and free.